I was muted. All right, here we go. Yes, we're live. You are watching the Real Money Coach Show here on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And man, we're happy that you're with us tonight. We got a really special guest that's going to come on and share some things. He and I had a great conversation over the radio, and he is Elton Patterson. I'll tell you more about him shortly. Listen, it has been a beautiful day, a beautiful week here in Charlotte. The weather has been absolutely gorgeous. I hear that we're going to be getting a cold spell next week. It's going to get down to 50. And so for those of my friends who are in Michigan and other parts of the country, I'm sorry y'all had to hear that, but you better come on down to the Queen City for a visit. Come down for a visit. There is so much going on in the financial news. There's the stock market. There's talking about a recession. They're talking about the debt ceiling. What's going on with student loan forgiveness? Lot going on. But here's the thing that you want to do. You want to make sure that you take time to get your money right. And that's why we do have the TRMC Masterclass where we are talking financial literacy. Almost 200 people are registered for that class now. And we are talking about financial psychology. Last night, we talked about budgeting and savings. Next week, we're going to talk about loans and debt, good debt, bad debt, how to get out of debt. And then we'll get into personal credit, taxes, insurance, and investing. Listen, and it's absolutely free. Doesn't cost you anything. All you got to do is register at trmcmasterclass.com, and you're in there. Bring all your friends, everybody. We're having a wonderful time. Thank you, Kimberly McGuinn, for checking in. Y'all know how we do. Kimberly, we didn't even have to prompt her, y'all. Kimberly said, I'm just going to tell you, I'm in the Queen City. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Who else is out there listening, and where are you listening from? Listen, I know many of you are waiting to hear from our guest tonight, and I'm excited about it too. And I'm going to tell you why I'm excited about it. You know, y'all, I love me some football. The only thing that can make our guest even better tonight, you already know, Chad, is if he was from Michigan, right? That's the only thing that would make it even better, man. And I even got my blue on tonight, Chad. Oh, man, it's going to be a great show. Let me do this. Let me bring on the host, my co-host, the lady herself, Mrs. Michelle Mitchell. What's going on, Michelle? What in the world?
Damn, welcome to the stage.
That applause will be heard around the globe.
Right.
So how you doing, Michelle?
I'm good. How are you, Tony?
Oh, I'm doing awesome. Just excited every Tuesday night just to get in front of our people and be able to talk about things that are important, right? Last night we were teaching on budgeting, right? And savings and all these types of things. And you know how important that is. It all starts with the budget. Hello, Alice Martin from Charlotte, North Carolina. Alice Alice is dynamite. Alice, I see Alice at Sunday school, and she's like, I listened to your show. She listened to the radio show, right? She listened to it 7:30 in the morning on Saturday morning. She's listening to the Real Money Coach show, and she comes up to me at church and says, hey, that guy that you had on, I got someone that needs to hear him, right? So she was talking about a gentleman that she met here in Charlotte who was also in the NFL. And now is starting his own business. And she's like, he needs to be mentored. I'm like, yeah, we got him. Yeah. So Alice is always bringing great ideas and guests. And we try to get them on the show too. We try to get them on because the more information we get out there, the better, Michelle.
Absolutely.
So, you have something going on tomorrow.
I do.
Tell us about it. Tell us what you got going.
Yeah, so on a monthly basis, as part of our brand promise, we educate our clients, right? So each month we have a client roundtable and we pick a topic and we educate our clients about that financial topic. And this month we are opening it up to the public. So people that are not our clients can kind of get a glimpse of what we do at our client roundtable. And this month we're talking about money out. So,
So I saw that money out. Tell me
mhm.
about money out. Just give us a little glimpse of what I thought that was an interesting title.
Yes. So money out is money going out of the business. So first we'll talk about the mindset of spending money, right?
Mm,
Because money can be spent on things for investments or just expenses. And some people, just like in their personal lives, they either overspend or they hoard money. They don't know when to invest. So
right.
we're talking about that. Then we'll talk about the systems of easily paying vendors. And then we'll end up talking about how business owners pay themselves based on the type of entity that they have.
And
So,
that's very important because I think
mhm,
sometimes we don't have a systematic or plan
mhm.
to pay ourselves, right?
Yes,
And then, I know early in my career, I'm paying everybody.
right.
And I'm like, well, what about
What
me?
about me?
What about me? And I'm sweeping the floor and doing all
Right.
the work and
Yeah.
that type of thing. So, but you're grinding, you're trying to build your business, but I think it's important to have that
Yeah.
in place. Now, let me. This is an interesting conversation I had with someone um, near you, not in heart, but in geographic location, right?
Mhm.
So I had this conversation with them, and they contacted me, said I need a new car.
Mm.
I'm like,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
And so what they were contemplating was taking money out of their retirement account to buy a new car.
Oh. Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, this person is less than 59 and a half years old, still working.
Mm.
And guess what I told her? Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
That will cost you so much money in penalties.
Yes, the
Oh
taxes
my God.
and the penalties. And
Yes.
oftentimes people ask me that. They ask me questions like, should I cash in my retirement and pay cash for a house? Or should
Mhm.
I do this? And generally speaking, my general answer, and I'll get your feedback on this because you're even more of an accountant than I am.
I
I
don't know about that.
I generally tell them it's not a good idea.
Yes.
And there's a number of reasons why I say that. Number one is because of the tax consequences. Because
Yes.
if you take that big a chunk out at one time
Mhm.
and out of a tax qualified account, you're going to pay taxes. And then, of course, if you're under 59 and a half, you're also going to pay taxes and penalties and all this stuff.
Mhm.
So that's one reason is because of the tax
Yes.
obligation.
Mhm.
Then the other thing is this is what wealthy people do. Wealthy people do not take their assets to buy other
Mm.
things. They,
Yes.
they don't use it to buy things, right?
Mhm.
They may use it to buy another income producing
Another
asset,
asset.
right? And,
Mhm.
and so that's where a house could be borderline, right? Because a house
Yes.
is an asset, but it's not an
Mhm.
income producing
Correct.
asset, right?
Mhm.
So here's what wealthy people do is they'll take their assets and let their assets make money that they use to buy their things.
Yes.
For example, if I have if we'll use the example of a car. Okay, so
Mhm.
if I have a $400 car payment, if I have an asset that's producing for me $400 a month, I'm now using that asset
Mhm.
to pay for the car, which is a depreciable asset, right?
Correct.
And guess what? When the car is paid for in 5 years, guess what I still got? I still got the asset.
That's right.
And so now I can take that asset because guess what? Most of us gonna buy another car eventually, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so now I still have the asset so I can continue buying car versus if I pull all the money out of the asset, pay cash for the car because I said I wanted to, long term, it's not as good for me.
No, it's not.
So from a bookkeeper, from a business coach, any issues, what would you add to that scenario?
I would also probably add if you had a business, like in your business generates revenue, it could pay for your car.
Oh yeah, that's the other option, right?
Yeah.
Is to have business credit and that type of thing. Let the
Yes.
business pay for the
The
vehicle.
business could either own the car and make the payments on the car loan, or the owner could also take that as compensation if you had the right business structure
Mm-hmm.
as part of your compensation. Then it's a deduction. It's still a deduction in the business.
Right.
It's a deduction in the business, and you're also not paying self-employment tax on it as a distribution.
Perk. That's a perk. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it depends on your structure, though.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways to skin that cat that people
A
don't
lot
think
of ways
about.
to skin that cat. And one of the ways that, like, sometimes I'll tell clients, like, okay, how much is the car note? Okay, go get a client that's bringing in that much revenue for you, and that one client pays for your car.
Right.
Boom.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
And then, there's advantages right now too of also buying a car over, I think it's over 6,000 pounds. It might be 7, something like that, because you can write the whole car off.
Right.
And so they're going to be eliminating some of that, or limiting it. And the same thing with electric cars right now. I mean,
Yes,
if you buy electric car,
tax credits for
there's
it.
tax
Yeah.
credits for that as well. So there's a lot of things. So
There is.
the bottom line is just be on your P's and Q's and get wise counsel.
Get wise counsel
before you make those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So Michelle, there's something that your Tony and this Tony have in common, and that is that we love football, right?
Y'all love football.
I mean, football is like I'm like right now, Michelle. Honestly, I'm like in a withdrawal. I had class last night, right? We had master class, which, by the way, shout out to Valerie Rhodes, CPA on my team. She did a wonderful job, facilitating the discussion on budgeting and saving. Mm-hmm. But typically when I have something on Monday night, what happens afterwards is it ends about 9, and mm-hmm. then I can go and sit on the couch and watch Monday Night Football.
Right.
I had no Monday Night Football to watch. I mean, what am I doing? Football. I had to watch the XFL or whatever it was.
Oh my God.
But and that's why I'm excited about our guest tonight, because Elton Patterson is a former NFL football player, right? So he played in the league, and there's not a whole lot of people that make it to the league. I mean, let's be honest.
Yes,
all the high school players that dream of it and then actually make it to the league is very few.
Right.
But what Elton has done is he took another career path after playing in the NFL, playing in some other leagues, and now he is the owner of Franchise Sports Agency. And so he has now started his own business. And I'm not going to steal all his thunder because I want him to talk about it. So without any further ado, let's bring our special guest on for tonight, Elton Patterson. Hey, man, that's how they used to park for you on the grid line. Don't even try it, right? That's how they used to do it. That's how they used to do it when they announced them coming out of the tunnel.
Right. 80,000 fans.
Right. How you doing tonight, bro?
Oh, here we go with the Big Blue. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Y'all was speaking on some real stuff, you and Michelle. Great insight. I was relaying it to myself and what I went through. And one story I can start off with that I knew, it was a guy named Torrey that played cornerback for the Cincinnati Bengals. I was a rookie, so he was a vet. And he was like, you know what, man? I don't buy anything until I get a bonus check. I was like, what you mean? I don't spend my money I make I wait till I do an autograph signing and I buy a car with that. And I was like,
Right.
oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
I'm not spending the principal at the time.
Not spending the principal.
Right, right.
Yes.
Well, and then there's people that do that. I am kind of adopting a little bit of that, going back to some of the basics, because good friend of Michelle and I, Pastor James Hines. Michelle is in Michigan, from Ben Harbor, Michigan. Go Tigers, right?
Yes,
So
go Tigers.
Pastor Hines is from there. And he's an older pastor, not old, but older than me. And he told me one time, he says, whenever he gets invited to go preach somewhere else, he always takes that money and he saves it. So not his salary that he's getting at the church, but when he goes out and speak. And so, that's kind of one of the things that I'm adopting, is when I'm being asked to speak and, get paid for speaking at different places, is to take that and invest it.
Right.
And because it's not something.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay. So now I'm a rookie in the NFL, and my dream, it was two things when I was going to the NFL. I had a dream, and I don't mean to skip, but I just wanted to get this out while we was on the topic.
Okay.
So my two dreams was take care of my mom, right? Make it to the NFL. That's my dream.
Yep.
What I need to do, and buy me an Escalade truck, the one, the the one with the back, the bed on the back, and on the spinner rims, right? I'm still showing my age, but I had the spinner rims. I wanted spinner rims Escalade. So my rookie year, I went and bought it, right? And I'm riding. I'm feeling good. Then it was another vet by name Dwayne Clemens. Shout out Dwayne Clemens. Called him Unc in the locker room. And he was like 32 at the time. And he hadn't had a $30 million deal, right? I'm a rookie, barely drafted, right? And he was like, hey, young killer, right? I see you got that nice truck out there. You got the spinning rims? Yeah. Hey, tell me, you bought it for yourself or you bought it for other people, broke people who don't got nothing and looking at you? I was like, for myself. He was like, all right, that's cool. But just know you ain't making no money until your money making money. And I was like, I have no clue what that means at the time. Like, I'm from the side of town where we're not financially affluent. So he was like, yeah, your money not making money. I was like, what you mean? He was like, interest. When your money can pay for things that you don't have to count in your pocket for, that's when you win it. And that was my first light bulb. Like, oh man, like, okay, cool. So that was my first introduction. So everything y'all talking about is verified, validated, like
well, here's the thing, man, that for me is you're squashing the stereotype right now.
Okay.
Right. So the stereotype is them conversations ain't happening in the locker room.
Right.
I mean, that's the stereotype that people have of people in the league, and I'm sure some of that does happen. But I love the fact that you're squashing that. You're talking about First of all, I thought it's kind of cute that he was only 32 years old and he's right?
Well, what am I? 21 at the time.
But yeah, that's dope that you have those conversations and you had veterans that were having those with you as a rookie. So man, let's back up. Tell us a little bit about what your career was like, where you grew up, and a little bit of that.
Okay, cool. My career was great. I grew up in Tallahassee, Florida, home of the Rattlers / Florida State, And I grew up pretty much, I tell people I grew up as a college player, right? Because I had both colleges and I got 9 brothers and sisters, right? And I'm the youngest of 10. And my mom moved to Tallahassee for the primary reason she wanted everybody to have an opportunity to go to a school, get a college education. So by the time I came out of Ricketts High School, I had a scholarship offer to go to UCF, and it was my only Division I scholarship. I had a few others, but it was my only big-time Division I scholarship. So I was like, you know what? Let's run with it. I'm going to make the most out of my situation. Went down to UCF, graduated 3.5 years, and was blessed enough to get drafted in the NFL in the 7th round to the Cincinnati Bengals. And I was just always a guy that was like an underachiever, like the odds are against you, but I just believed in myself, like I can make it. I know I can, and I'm going to do better than anybody else. And I'm going to thank God for this opportunity. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself. I'm going to always thank God for my dream is to get to the NFL, right? And he blessed me with that. So every day in the locker room, I'm like, If I don't get anything else, I get down on the knee. Lord, thank you for blessing me to be here. If I don't get anything else, I'm fine. If I don't get the $50 million deal, that's fine. I would like it. But if I don't get it, it's fine because I acknowledge and I realize that millions of kids dream for this moment. And I never was out of contact or out of context with myself on understanding that aspect, So I was able to play that game for 5 years, right? In and out of the league a little bit, but I was able to play it. And once I got done, I got back to what I wanted to do, which was help other people, which is why I became a sports agent.
That's awesome.
Love it, man. Love it.
Yeah.
And the first thing I picked up, did you say you graduated in 3.5 years?
3.5. I picked that up too.
Did you pick that up?
Y'all pick up the good stuff.
Look, man, it took me 4.5 years. I ain't play no football, right? So that's great.
That accounting degree is hard.
But
hey, it ain't no joke.
The reason why I had a thing behind it. The reason why I said I wanted to graduate 3.5 years is because I was like, I'm gonna have one chance to play football. And normally, as you know, like when you're coming out, you have to prepare for the combine. You got to go over here and train. And my idea was like, let me overload in classes because once I come out, which would be my last semester, I'm not going to have time to talk about trying to graduate, go to class, and train. I want to put everything in training. So I just loaded up 18 hours in that spring, 12 hours in the summer, another 18 in the fall, just to go ahead and graduate before I even started my journey to the NFL.
That's goal-oriented.
Yeah, man. That, and you know what I want to do is put a shout out to your mama, right? Because she's instilled some things, it sounds like in you and your siblings. She had a goal, right? She had a vision for her children, and for you to go to college, graduate in 3.5 years, and then realize your dream of going to the NFL, man, that's blessed, right?
Yeah.
For real.
Thank you.
For real. So now you go and you graduate, and what is draft night really like? I mean, because we see the things on TV and all this, and
ask that. I said, of course you would ask that.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask that. We see all this hoopla, but what is it really like for the average player?
Man, I just started sweating again thinking about it. Like that draft night is intense. It's one of the most intense things that I ever experienced in my life. And it's only because it's your dream, but you have no clue where you're going to go. And then you go from saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to get drafted to thinking, well, I know I'm going to go at least 4th round, right? To thinking like, am I getting drafted? Like now it's 7th round. I went second to the last pick. So that's 254 more players got drafted before me. And I'm like, I don't know if this is going to happen right now. You know what I'm saying? So what am I going to do next? So you go through a life level of emotions from draft day all the way to the end of the draft. And it's just some stuff that people never will experience as far as stress and, your family's there. I'm at my mama's couch. I'm going on a walk. I'm laying on the couch. Mama telling me, it's going to be okay, baby. Don't worry. Trust in God, right? And I'm just like, until to the point to where I kind of mentally was fatigued. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to have to go free agent. Let me see what's going on. And I get a call. And it's like, hey, Elton, coach from Cincinnati. Now, here's the deal. I get a bunch of calls before the draft. They're interested in me, but nobody's pulling the trigger. So I'm thinking it's just another call. Hey, Elton, what's up, man? It's Jay Hayes, D-line coach, Cincinnati Bengals. I'm like, hey, what's up, coach? He's like, hey, how you hanging in there? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right, man. Could be doing better, but, I know the draft about to be over. Listen, I'll let you know if I want to look at you guys as a free agent. He was like, no, don't hang up. I said, why? He was like, Coach Lewis want to talk to you, head coach. We're going to take you with this pick. I'm like, oh, my God. Woo! So now I see my name go across the screen on ESPN. My family's like, and I promise you, it felt like 10 tons just lifted off my chest. Like,
wow.
Oh, thank you. I go outside, I run down the road, come back, now on top of me. So it was just a blessing, man. It was like, it was the worst and best night of my life, so that's how it
was. Right. But, there's like that patience in there, too. It's like, I mean, I imagine there's some things that you go through that you wouldn't experience that any other way. There's no other way that you would get that lesson. And wow, that's pretty That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so now you're drafted, but that's not the end of the story, right? I mean, what?
No, so my next thing, I got stories for days, by the way. So,
Okay, come on, well, we got time, man. We got time. Go ahead.
so now I'm in there and I realize like the NFL is cool, it's fun, it's elite, right? It's a dream, but it's a job, right? It's not just
Yep.
football, it's not showing up. It is a full-time job. Like if you mess up, you may get cut. I'm seeing people come in that they drafted. Like it was a guy named Renard Wilson, right? He was drafted top 5 pick out of Florida State, right? And I played behind him. And I came in the locker room one day after preseason, and his locker was clean. I'm like, whoa, they cut him for me? And this other vet guy was like, hey, cut through. It's NFL, man. We only keep 53. And I'm all gonna tell you, it's better him than you. And I was like, all right, let me get my mind right, you know. So fast forward during the season, I was hanging out with Chad Ochocinco at the time. His name was Chad Johnson at the time, but it was Chad Ochocinco. And we linked together all the time after practice, playing soccer, FIFA, and all this stuff. And I was like, man, you know what's crazy, Chad? That I know I can play in this league. But they took me 7th round, second to last pick, and I know I'm better than that. And one word that he said, yeah, we all got something that people say to you that stick with you for life. And he said, it's correlating back to what you asked me. He was like, hey, man, it ain't where you start. It's where you finish.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. So I kind of took that as motivation and, you know, just like, let me go out here and finish what I started, you know. So I kind of went into the league with that mindset, like, okay, now that I made it, let me go to the next level and finish what I started. Let me go
There
take
you go. And what year was that, Elton?
I got drafted in 2003.
2003. Okay.
Yeah, I drafted.
Wow. And that organization has done well lately. I mean, do you have connections at all to like the Cincinnati Bengals or anything like that now?
Well,
I mean, I guess it's been 20 years.
Right. Wow.
I ain't got much connection with people I meet.
Don't say that.
Yeah, you're right.
You might be the only one.
Thank you for the mind. But no, it's cool. That's a great organization. I was blessed to be able to represent a guy that was playing with them, Jordan Frank. So to have a team like they called me like, hey, Elton, what's up? We like you guys. So I'm connected in the NFL through my agency because I played. So they end up taking my guy and I'm back in there. Now I'm in there as an agent, right? And they're like, hey, yeah, you need tickets, you need this, whatever, we got you covered. Come in the locker room. So it's like a hometown thing going back.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Nice.
So tell us about the agency, man. How did all of that come about? I mean, I understand you played 5 years on and off in the league, and then what made you want to start your own agency, and what is that environment like? I mean, we thinking about Jerry Maguire and all this crazy stuff, right? What is it really like, man?
It's intriguing. I would say that the only reason I got started in it is because I'm a business person. I kind of knew that from day one when I was in college. I was like, I enjoy going to class. I enjoy learning. I enjoy education. Majority, not all, but majority of football players, once they retire, they go into coaching. And I knew I didn't want to coach. Primarily because I'm a family guy and I need to be around my family. And I'm seeing coaches there. If I'm there at 6:30, they're there before me. So who knows what time they're getting there, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And then they're there after me at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And I'm just like, not talking bad about it, but I'm like, their quality of life doesn't really match.
That's what the life is. I mean, it's not bad. That's what you sign up for.
Right. I was like, I love football, but I don't think I want to dedicate my life contingent upon football. So I said, well, you know what? I'm gonna be, my goal when I went back and got my master's degree after I retired in 2010. And I said my goal was to be an athletic director. Now it was only like 3 or 4 black athletic directors in the entire country at the time.
Wow.
117 schools. It was only 4 black athletic directors, and one of them was at UCF, where I went to school at. And his name was Keith Tribble. And I was like, you know what? I want to be a black athletic director. And he was like, you can do it. Come on and be a GA for us. So I said, all right, cool. So while I'm there, I'm learning, you know, such and such. So I'm like, I would love, but I enjoy, because I had my real estate license by then. So now I enjoy working for myself. Let me go ahead and just shoot and try this agent thing, because you have to have a master's degree to be an agent. And I said, now that would be love, because I can work for myself. I can still be in tune with football, but off the field, and I can help people go through their career like I did. I probably need an agent like myself. And I took the test, although it was a hard test. Like a ton of attorneys take the test and lawyers take the test, and it was like a 40% pass rate. I go in there and pass it the first time, like bam. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm
I mean, you keep talking.
I know, right?
I mean, like, this is an unusual brother. I mean, it's unusual because you keep slipping these things out. Like, matter of fact, well, you know, when I went back and got my master's degree,
I got my master's degree.
Right. I passed this agency test in the first try, you know. And then the other thing too, and we'll get into this, and feel free to share it, is your faith too. I can see how important your faith is. So that's all pretty awesome, man.
Definitely.
So you get the master's degree, you're gonna try this agency thing out.
Yeah, because my thing was this, and I analyzed it like this. I was like, because you didn't, prior to like 08, 07, you didn't have to have a master's degree. You could just take the test, right? So they, all of a sudden, NFL, when I say the NFL, they required people to have a master's degree. And I couldn't understand why. Because I'm like, oh, do I need it in sports management? Do I need it in business? No, I need a master's degree. And I'm like, I'm on the phone with them, like, you telling me I can't have a master's degree in basket weaving? They're like, yep. So I initially thought, like, all right, this is a weed out system. They're trying to have less people, like not too many. This is what I told myself, and it's just a self-evaluation. I was like, it's not going to be too many black agents that played in the NFL that's going to go back and get their master's degree just to be an agent. I'm not saying none, but it won't be a lot. So therefore, I'm going to be a minority, which would be a majority, right? Because it's going to be it's majority black player. We all know it's 80%.
Right.
Going to the NFL. So I'm going to be one of the few agents that's black and played in the NFL one day. It's just going to be. And that was my goal. So that was my motivation on becoming an agent. And it's still true, because I don't know why we don't go get these agent license. Like
you got to get a master's degree.
Well, that's one of the hurdles. Right. And to get a master's degree, what do you got to do to get a master's degree? You got to have a bachelor's degree, right?
Exactly.
And you got to get accepted. And
you got to get accepted. You got to pass the entrance exam. You got to study. You got to change your lifestyle so you can get the degree. Like,
well, Michelle is saying that because she got like 5 masters, 5 and counting, right? So, but that's true, boy. You got to go through all that, and then the other thing, of course, is, I mean, and I think of it from a financial standpoint, you know, you got to put up some money to get your master's degree. Yeah. I mean, they don't give those out for free. So if you know.
Although I hustled mine, because I went back to the school I went to and was like, hey, I played here. Y'all not going to, like, let me be a GA or something. Like, I don't want to pay for it. And they was like, okay, we'll let you come back. But the NFL, and I was speaking on former NFL players being agents, they pay for you to go back to school. They have a program that's called continuing education where they'll pay for you to go back to school too. So I would encourage a lot of guys. No one knows the NFL better than the players. So I would encourage the guys to get that higher level education and come in, because it's majority. I'll be honest with you, a lot of these corporations are majority white, right? And they're like you referenced, Jerry Maguire. That's the typical thing. You're going to have a black athlete or a black family. You're going to see one guy over there on draft day, and he's going to be white, and he's collecting the money. And we don't have to do it, right? And not that I'm racist, and I'm not trying to turn it into that, but it's reality. And we do have some guys like Jay-Z and people, Rock Nation. They're doing a good job over there. Some black agencies that are picking up the slack. But I'm just saying it to encourage former athletes that play in the NFL to be into the
one of my clients is an agent, and all the agents are white. And it's just so,
Right. Right.
they can't relate.
Right. Correct.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing, because like you mentioned, one of your goals was to take care of your mom, right? I mean, that's something that's kind of cultural, right? It's like we want to take care of our mom. We've seen them struggle, working 2 jobs and 3 jobs and all that to get us through school, and we want to do it. And sometimes, we want to take care of more than just our mom too. But I mean, and then even as you were talking about, the Escalade, right? You
Right.
want, I mean, that's probably part of our culture. And understanding that, I think, could be very important, is probably as an agent, I would guess.
Yeah, and it's a balance. So a lot of agents, right? They appease these guys coming out of college because they can't relate. So the only way they can relate is say, "Here go this money. Take 100,000, take 150,000. Sign with me. I give you 200,000, 50,000 at signing, $20,000 a month to the draft." That's how they recruit, right? It's perpetuating the same problem that we already have, which is uneducated.
You better talk about it, man. Now you're walking down our street, right? Okay. So it's perpetuating the problem. Go ahead.
It's perpetuating the problem. So now, if you have a guy, I like myself, who understands, like, no, I want you to have fun. I want you to have nice things, but here's the focus. This is why it should line up. That's not important right now. And to fight that stigma of saying, I need to have this, I need to have this, and I need to have this, but let me focus on this, this, and this. It's hard. It's a hard sell. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest. It's a hard sell. Even this day, to like me talking to guys, it's a hard sell. You know how many times I came up this close to signing a kid because they just, dang, I like you, I relate to you, but they gotta go get that money, or they gotta
right.
Because they're present focused and not future focused.
Correct.
Right. Right. No, not the delayed gratification. It's like, now, and I made it, and that type of thing.
And they haven't even worked hard yet.
Right. Right. And they haven't entered into the realm of earning their money and all of that good stuff. So basically it's like, but it's culturalized. Like you said, that's how I grew up. My motivation was take care of my mama and Escalade. It wasn't stocks, bonds, and building a future and life insurance.
Generational wealth. Right.
So these guys, fast forward, their goal is to stunt, have a good time, do their thing. And I think it's up to us to help educate a lot of guys coming up a little bit more on, like, hey, this is what you should be doing, because we're past that phase now. Let's go into the wealth phase of life.
You're right.
Right. So what about, like, people? I mean, I think of, like, is it Herm Edwards, and I think Tony Dungy's done some things in terms of getting with guys in the what do they call them, the rookie camps or whatever, and trying to get them to think about their financial future and all those type of things. What's your take on those things? How are they having an impact, or what's your feelings?
Now, I will say this. I think culturally, seeing over the past few years, I think guys are a little bit more woke, right? I think they're a little bit more cognitive. Now, a lot of them still are, just like they're going to follow it. But a lot of guys are saying, I'm going to sign with this black agent. Like, even my client now, Damian Pierce, he's starting running back at Houston. He had a ton of agents after him. I just go meet with him and talk to him, and I kept it real with him, just like I'm talking to you. Hey, bro, I'm from here. We both country. We yada yada. I played in the league. He was like, yeah, I like you. I'm going to sign with you. And I got backdrop. You know how you're in the industry, so you hear people say stuff about you. And they was like, one of my guys was like, man, this other agent up in New York, he was like, he tried hard to sign Damian, and he just couldn't do it. Damian was sold. Like, nah, I'm already know who I'm signing with. And it's those guys that get it. Like, nope, he gonna lead me, he gonna guide me. He's not Hollywood. And that's the kind of route you want to go. And if I could have 1,000, or not even 1,000, give me 10 of those. Give me 10 Damians, I'll be just good, because he's setting himself up for life.
Right.
Got it.
I love that.
That's good. So
Now,
what are some of the, go ahead, Michelle.
I was going to ask if he represents NIL students as well.
Oh,
I have
Yes.
so new. Whew.
Because it's a whole nother,
that's a whole nother industry that done popped off.
it's a jungle right now.
It
Yeah.
is. That's a whole nother thing. I haven't gotten into it as of yet. It's just so it's an untamed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I embrace it. I
Mhm.
embrace college kids getting paid. I said that a long time ago. I think while I was getting my master's degree, we had a class discussion, and they were saying, should athletes get paid? Back then in 2011, I'm like, yes.
Yes.
And they was like, no. Why should you get paid? You get an education. I was like, because the coach is making $6 million. Like,
Right.
it's the only sport.
And you don't, if the cafeteria is not open, you can't eat because you ain't got no money.
Right. You waiting for that refund check.
Right.
You know what's funny? I told the professor at the time, why we having this class, I said, let me tell y'all what y'all should do. Or not y'all, but the school should do. I said every school should implement a form of 401k. So every year that a player letters, just give them $10,000 toward his
stipend. Yeah.
and to where you put it in there as a 401k. You can't touch it till you're 40 years old or something. And the professor was like, wow, that's actually smart. I never thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
That would actually work. You got to give these kids something, because my problem was I was the star player at UCF my senior year. Like, I'm on the poster. I go in the bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
You see a number 97 jersey. Everybody and their mama know it. They can't put my name on it, but everybody know it's me. And I don't get nothing from them selling my jersey, right?
Right.
And it's just not right. So they need to pay something. I just think the NCAA, they kept their thing too long. They should have, like, they could have kept it under control. I'm sharing this. Well, I haven't even shared this, my thought process, but just say 6 years ago, if they would have said, okay, we're going to go ahead and pay y'all. We're going to pay y'all $30,000 a year. They could have kept, and you can't do this, because it's a job.
Mm-hmm.
They could have kept control over it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, the cat out the bag. Like, there's no way they can go back and try to pay these dudes $17,000. Like, it's done. It's wrapped. Like,
it's over. Yeah, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They ain't signing up for that. That's for sure. And I think it made the whole recruiting process much more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Because of who's which schools these are offering the best deals and that type of thing. So
and it's falling over into the transfers, and it's like yearly, like,
the transfer pool. Yeah.
I'm gonna go over here. I'm over here, and I'm gonna go over here. How much you want me to come over there? It's all over the place right now.
Yeah. So tell us, just from your standpoint, as an agency, what are some of the things that you're doing to make a difference with the guys that you sign? I know you talked about the one Pierce, I think it is, and others, but what type of things are you doing, or do you envision doing for your players that you represent, that you think is different than what the other agencies do?
Well, I think first thing I'm doing is educating, right? Education. And like I said, I had a real estate I got my real estate license while I was still playing. So to give you a live example, Damian came after he got drafted. He was like, hey, E, I'm about to rent this place here. I'm leaving out the hotel with the rookies. I'm going to go ahead and rent me an apartment. I said, how much apartment is? He was like $2,800 a month. I said, no, sir. Nope. He's like, what you mean? I said, bro, no, you just need to buy you a house. He was like, buy a house? How I do that? I'm going to show you. I'm a real estate agent. Here's the reason why, Damien. I know everybody talk about you don't need to rent. I mean, you don't need to buy your first year. I said, you got drafted 4th round. They're not going to cut you. So you're going to be here for a substantial amount of time. Even if you leave, you're going to start developing assets the day that you walk through the door. Yes. So now, if you stay in an apartment, you're going to spend over $30,000, $40,000 in a year that you're never going to see again. You go ahead and buy this house. You got you an investment. And guess what? Most times when you rent an apartment, you tend to stay another year, right? So now that 40 is really 80,000 that you put that towards a house. So even if we go to another team, you go to Baltimore Ravens or something, rent it out. You got residual income.
Right.
And the
Because you got
goal
that asset. Yeah.
is your asset.
Rent it out to another rookie.
Right. That's coming in. Right. And to this day, he was like, that was the best thing. And we got him a house. He bought a house, got him set up. He was like, man, that's the best thing ever. Nobody else in the locker room, like, dang, you got a house, like you set up. He was like, yes. And that's what I offer. Like, that's what I'm offering, guidance along their career that's going to make power moves early on. Why wait? Get that out the way. Because I was like, if you never play again, bro, you got a great head start in life. You know, if you come out the league right now, you got a house at 22 years old. Come on now.
Right.
We'll build from here, but this is a great foundation. Instead of just wasting all this money on jewelry, cars, and all this stuff and renting, let's just go ahead and start now. So that's what I offer to a lot of my guys.
And that's amazing, man. That you're doing a great work. You're doing a great work.
That changes lives, and it's generational.
Right.
You know, because what he's learning, he can then turn around and teach his own children. You know, so they have a better start than he did.
Right.
So
and then the time's going to come, if he's able to continue in the league, that he's going to be that vet that's talking to the rookie that comes in. And so you don't know really how many lives that will change as a result of that.
Right. And he's embracing all of it. Like I said, he's a humble kid. He's loving all of it. And the only problem, it's not a problem. I enjoy it. But now he looks at me for everything. Like, I am the guy. He tell everybody, do not do nothing without running it through my agent first. Which I love that, man. That's why I got into the business. He makes me love being into the agent world.
Man, that's awesome. That is awesome. So as an agent, what's the capacity, man, for, I mean, I imagine that as a business owner, like the rest of us, you have to think about, you know, how do you scale and these type of things. So tell us a little bit about, you know, what's going on with your business and your vision for growth for your agency.
All right. So my thing, and what I can potentially say on what I envision for myself is I want to be a connected agent. I don't really want to be I give a lot. Like I'm connected to my guys. So me having 45 guys, I can't fathom that, because I'm like, I go so all in. Like, I'm at almost not every game, but I'm at the games. I'm at the games. I'm taking care of the family. What do you need here? So for me to spread myself thin through 40 guys would be impossible, right? If I can get a good group of guys, right, and it make enough sense, and I'm helping them with their career, and we're residual, and they can refer me to other guys that need the same kind of help, and I got like-minded guys, and we build
that are coming in with the mindset, because everybody's not ready for that from a mindset standpoint of what you're talking about.
A whole lot of them not ready for that mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, right? Yeah, they're not ready at all, brother. And I would rather work that route instead of just going and buying an athlete. You know, anybody can say, hey, bro, let me give you $100,000 to come sign with me. And there's no connection, and they just feed it into them, and they want to go buy this. Hey, I'm in Miami. Can you send over 30,000? And like, they just, I'd rather be quantity over quality with my agent business. And if I can scale that to a level to where I'm reinvesting every year and building more clients, building more like clients, and we build a nice family, and we're educating, become that strong, powerful Black agency, I'm all for it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, I can't wait to kind of just follow you and see how your agency grows and how those guys that you represent, how they become, you know, their futures, their financial futures, and how they create generational wealth. Because, you know, we talk a lot in financial literacy and the teaching that we do and that type of thing. And one of the examples that we always use is players that go to the league and NBA or NFL, and 5 years after they retire, you know, they're broke, you know, and there's a lot of statistics too. It's two.
A lot of times it's about 2 years, bro.
Yeah.
It's sad.
And so what do we do to change that, you know, and for others, because a lot of our young boys in particular, Black boys, that's who they look up to, right? They look up to entertainers, they look up to athletes and that type of thing. And we got to change that cycle that happens so often.
Well, I think honestly that first segment, I know you guys were vicariously talking, but that was huge, man. Like, buy stuff off of extra money that you make. Like even with Damien, I'm like, hey, bro, listen, you're getting off the field money. I've negotiated probably over $200,000 worth of signing and autograph signings. Use that money to go buy your car, right? Use that money to get your little chain, and we're gonna make your salary work for you for the rest of your life. That's huge information, man. And I don't like. I wish more people could listen to that, right, and pay attention to it and really act on that. And also, in perspective to the NFL, guys, if they got that concept, because they get so much extra money, like you'd be surprised how much extra money they get outside of their salary. If they can practice on that and live on the money that they get in, or have fun with the money they get in, because none of us saying don't have fun, save all your money. We're not saying that. What we're saying is balance it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have a balance. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, man, I love it, man. I thank you so much. I know that there's a gentleman here in the city that we're gonna make sure I send this recording to so that he sees it. Like I said, he's a former player and he's here in Charlotte trying to start his business. And I think a lot of people could be really inspired by your story and what you're doing. And when I say that you're not the typical stereotype of what we think of as an NFL player, that's a real compliment, bro, because I think God has anointed you to do some things that you're doing that is needed, right? That is needed. And so, man, I'm geek, man, about it.
Man, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, I always kept God number one, and I let him lead me. And my goal now is to be more of a voice and be more connected. It's been hard, right? It's been struggle. Like it definitely wasn't just handed to me. I faced a lot of adversities, But coming now, and I appreciate you inviting me on the show to have a voice and to start my journey as far as helping others. Like that's the part of life I'm in, is like educating and helping others, you know what I'm saying, as I go along on my journey now. So I appreciate it.
Well, man, I tell you, if you're ever in the Queen City, look me up, man. Let's hook up.
Definitely. I got you.
Hey, listen, Charlotte needs some help, man.
I've heard they need a little help over there.
We need a little help up here, man. We need a little help up here. So, Michelle, any final comments?
No. Man. Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, Elton, I really wish you well. What you're doing is needed. And having the education piece differentiates you from everybody else.
Thank you.
Because they're not, like, I've been on the back end of agencies, so they're not doing that. So kudos to you, and keep it up.
Thank you.
I'm gonna let you have the last word, but this is what, if I were to describe this tonight, if my one word to describe tonight was, it was refreshing.
Okay.
It was refreshing. It was refreshing to hear what you're doing and why you're doing it, and so we're gonna stay connected, bro, for sure. We're gonna stay connected for sure. So
definitely.
Any parting words for the audience tonight?
No, man. Hey, like I said, I appreciate it. In the agent world, it's different. I know a lot of people go into the agent thing and for the glitz and glamour and the money, and they signing guys because of money. But my main thing is just to be connected. I've been through the fame and all that stuff. Let's hone in and get you set up for life. So, and it's not just the agency though. Like I want to help everybody, the everyday person. I want to help people start a business, or going back to school, or how to start an LLC and all that stuff. So I'm gonna span this thing on out, man. We definitely got to stay connected.
Yes,
absolutely. Well, listen, you guys, that is Elton Patterson. Elton Patterson franchise sports agency. Did I get it right?
Yep, you got it right.
All right, that's it. Y'all look it up, follow him on Instagram and all that good stuff. And we're going to see you right back here next week. And we're going to continue just bringing you just information that hopefully you can use and that will change your life. You guys have been watching the Real Money Coach Show. I'll see you Saturday, or you will hear me Saturday on the radio. And we'll be right back here next Tuesday. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you.